Did Donald Trump redefine American politics, or did he simply reveal what was already there? As we delve into the story of the 45th President of the United States, we encounter a figure who is nothing short of controversial, a businessman and reality TV star whose presidential campaign was as unconventional as his career. Donald Trump entered the political arena with a flair that was both unprecedented and unpredictable. Known for his empire in real estate and his starring role on The Apprentice, Trump was a household name long before he descended the escalator at Trump Tower to announce his candidacy. With no prior political experience, his approach was seen by many as a breath of fresh air, while others viewed it with skepticism and alarm. His campaign promise to drain the swamp resonated with a significant portion of the American electorate. The slogan didn't just imply removing inefficiencies from the federal government. It was a call to overhaul the entire political establishment. Trump's rhetoric and actions suggested a break from traditional political norms and a direct challenge to the status quo, which he often described as rigged against the common man. Throughout his presidency, Trump's methods were often divisive, characterized by direct communication through social media platforms, bypassing traditional media channels. This direct approach endeared him to his supporters, who saw him as a true outsider fighting on their behalf. As we dive into Trump's presidency, consider how his unique approach impacted the political landscape. How did a businessman with no political experience climb to the highest office in the land? The tale of the 2016 presidential campaign is one of unprecedented strategy and unexpected outcomes. Donald Trump, a real estate mogul and reality TV star, launched his campaign with promises that resonated deeply with a significant portion of the American electorate. His key messages were bold and clear: to make America great again, secure the borders, and bring jobs back to the U.S. soil. Trump's approach was anything but traditional. Eschewing the typical polished political rhetoric, he spoke in a direct, often brash manner that appealed to voters tired of conventional politics. This, coupled with his prolific use of social media, particularly Twitter, allowed him to communicate directly with the public, bypassing the traditional media gatekeepers. His targeted voter base, largely consisting of working-class Americans, felt seen and heard by his promises to revive manufacturing and oppose trade deals perceived as harmful to American workers. Throughout his campaign, Trump also made major promises that would later define his presidency, such as the construction of a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border and significant tax cuts. These pledges, controversial yet striking, cemented his image as a disruptor of the status quo. Trump's victory in 2016 was not just a win, it was a political earthquake. Once in office, Trump wasted no time implementing his agenda. But what were the pillars of his policy? One of the most significant and sweeping pieces of legislation under Trump's administration was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Enacted in December of 2017, this law marked the largest overhaul of the U.S. tax system in decades. It significantly reduced the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21% and altered various aspects of individual tax provisions. Proponents hailed it as a boon for economic growth and job creation, while critics argued it favored the wealthy and would increase the national debt. On the immigration front, Trump's policies were marked by efforts to tighten border control. Perhaps the most controversial was the travel ban, commonly referred to as the Muslim ban. It initially targeted several predominantly Muslim countries and faced numerous legal challenges. Additionally, Trump's promise to build a border wall between the United States and Mexico was a central theme of both his campaign and presidency, symbolizing his stance on immigration. Trump's administration also focused heavily on deregulation, particularly in the environmental sector. One of the most notable actions was the withdrawal from the Paris Agreement, an international accord aimed at combating climate change. This decision was aligned with his broader deregulatory agenda that often prioritized economic growth over environmental protections. In terms of foreign policy, Trump's approach was unconventional. His direct engagement with North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, was a departure from the diplomatic isolation the regime had previously faced from the United States. These summits were historic, as they marked the first time a sitting U.S. president met with a North Korean leader, although the tangible results were debated. Trump's policies were as bold as his personality, leaving no sector untouched. However, not everything was smooth sailing. Trump's presidency was marked by unprecedented controversies. One of the most significant and divisive events was his impeachment trials. The first impeachment in December 2019 centered around allegations that Trump had solicited foreign interference in the 2020 U.S. presidential election. The case revolved around a phone call with the Ukrainian president, where Trump allegedly withheld military aid to pressure Ukraine into investigating his political rival, Joe Biden. Despite the charges, the Senate acquitted him in February 2020. The second impeachment came swiftly after the events of January 6, 2021, when a mob of Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol. The attack was a shocking attempt to overturn the election results after Trump's persistent claims of electoral fraud. Charged with incitement of insurrection, this made Trump the first U.S. president to be impeached twice. Again, the Senate trial concluded with an acquittal, but not without leaving a deep imprint on the fabric of American politics. Trump's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic also drew intense scrutiny and criticism. His frequent downplaying of the virus's severity, contradictory public health messages, and promotion of unverified treatments contributed to a national response that many viewed as fragmented and insufficiently coordinated. This period highlighted stark divisions in approaches to public health and governance, exacerbating political and social rifts across the country. Moreover, Trump's presidency often seemed to be characterized by a continuous cycle of controversy, from his confrontational style of communication to his unprecedented use of social media for presidential announcements and attacks on critics. These actions consistently stirred public and media uproar, contributing to a climate of enduring division. These controversies not only defined his presidency, but also polarized the nation. Despite leaving office, Trump's shadow looms large over the Republican Party and American politics. Since departing from the White House, Donald Trump has remained a central figure in the Republican landscape. His unique brand of politics, marked by blunt rhetoric and an unconventional approach, has not only reshaped the party, but also cemented a fervent base of supporters who continue to wield considerable influence in party primaries and political discourse. Trump's grip on the GOP is evident in the loyalty he commands among its members. His endorsement is often seen as crucial for candidates in Republican primaries, where his approval can dramatically sway the outcome. This phenomenon underscores a reshaping of the party's identity, aligning more closely with Trump's vision of nationalism and populism, and moving away from traditional conservative principles in some areas. Moreover, Trump's voice remains loud in national debates, often framing the narrative through his prolific use of social media and public appearances. His statements and actions continue to stir significant media coverage and public discussion, indicating his ongoing role as a polarizing figure in American politics. As we look toward the future, Trump's potential run in the 2024 presidential election looms as a significant possibility. This prospect further highlights the enduring impact he has on the political landscape, suggesting that his influence will be felt for years to come, regardless of his official role. Trump's political journey may have paused, but his influence continues. As we reflect on Donald Trump's presidency, what is his lasting impact on America? Donald Trump's tenure as the 45th president of the United States was nothing short of a political whirlwind. His unique style of leadership and unorthodox approach to governance have left an undeniable imprint on the fabric of American politics. From his populist rhetoric to his embrace of social media as a direct communication tool, Trump shifted the presidential paradigm in ways that will reverberate through future administrations. The policies enacted under his leadership, particularly those related to immigration, deregulation, and foreign policy, have sparked broad debates about the role and power of the executive branch. His administration's approach to handling the COVID-19 pandemic and environmental regulations has also prompted a reevaluation of federal crisis management and scientific governance. Furthermore, Trump's presidency has altered the expectations and norms of political leaders. His candid and often confrontational style has changed the way political figures communicate, making what was once considered unprecedented now unsurprising. The shift has permeated not only national but also state and local levels of government, influencing how politicians engage with the public and each other. On the international stage, Trump's America First doctrine challenged long-standing alliances and trade agreements, leaving a legacy of skepticism about multilateralism. His interactions with global leaders have reshaped U.S. foreign relations, with long-term effects that are yet to be fully understood. These changes have prompted nations worldwide to reconsider their strategies in dealing with the U.S. In American political culture, Trump has both deepened divisions and energized political engagement. His presidency witnessed a significant rise in political activism, with more Americans than ever before mobilizing in response to or in support of his policies and actions. This heightened engagement has transformed the landscape of American civic life, potentially leading to a more politically active society. Whether viewed as a disruptor or a revolutionary, Trump's presidency has indelibly marked the course of American history.